434. Okay, can we have in location?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come together today to do the business of this housing authority and to do your will. We ask that you guide our thoughts, our words, and all we do today. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Can I just come to chair? Vice Chair Cologne is not here. Jack Miller, Commissioner Miller, Commissioner Finger. Commissioner Finger?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Commissioner Mason? Here. Commissioner Morgan?
I'm here.
Commissioner Roman?
Here.
City Commissioner Jen Ahern Koch?
Here.
Thank you. Okay, can I have approval of the minutes? Regular board meetings, April the 3rd.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Madam Chair, I'd just like to acknowledge that I did submit some non-substitute changes
Okay,
for the record.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All?
Aye.
Anyone against? Okay. Approval of the agenda for this meeting, May 28th?
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Morgan? I couldn't hear.
Yes.
Any opposed? Special presentation. We have a team member of the quarter, and we're proud to have Nilo Camp. Excuse me. Excuse me.
That's all right.
Nilo
Everybody mispronounces it.
Camp
so-
Car. I apologize again. Was hired on April 2023 as a Sarasota Housing Authority agency assistant. She performed her job duties with the utmost attention to detail and accuracy, and in 2024 was transferred to the position of accounting assistant. She has become a key player in the finance and administration department, performing many critical accounting and purchasing functions. She has put in countless hours to keep on top of items that could have easily fallen by the wayside, and is very thought questions anything that appears to be out of the ordinary or erroneous. She has played a key role in processing accounts payable, ensuring that our vendors are paid in the timely manner, along with all her other accounting and administrative functions. She has grown professionally over the past 2 years, and we know she will continue to be a key part of this agency as we continue to grow. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
Coming back here and
All right.
you do have good for that.
She just got,
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if
You don't want to be in the
commissioners
photo?
Sure.
You can come in if you want to get in the picture.
Come on, y'all. Come on, everybody. Come on.
How are we doing?
Come on. Come on.
Everybody has to participate in this.
Thank you, everyone. Great.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. And thank you
for all
for
you do.
that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's your chair.
Painless. Painless.
Oh, that was good. Okay. City Commission liaisons update, please. Thank you.
Hi, for the record, Jen Ahern Koch, Sarasota City Commissioner at Large and the liaison from the City of Sarasota to the Housing Authority. How is everybody?
Fine, and you?
Good. At the last meeting, we discussed 3 items that involve the Housing Authority and the city. and they were the loss on lemon and the waiving of the fees, some of the fees that were requested. It's my understanding that we are not statutorily allowed to waive those. That's what I was told. And Mr. Robinson said you have his number, William, if you have any questions about that. The other one was for McCowan Towers. If you're going to request a rezone and a comp plan, that it be on an accelerated process given the changes potentially in funding. And that will be, item will be on the agenda for the commission to discuss within the first 3 months of when we start meeting back in July. So either July, August, or September, it will be on the agenda. And then the other item was for what was the other one? It was for Second Street, to discuss the Housing Authority's potential role in First Street. That will also be on the agenda within the first 3 months of when we reconvene starting in July. So those are my 3 items. Any questions with those 3 items?
I do.
Yes.
Says the city never waived any fees?
I think the city does waive fees, but I think it depends on what it is. Some of the fees that have to do with utilities, I think, are limited because of bonds, right? And covenants that we have with those. But specifically, I asked about these fees, and that's what I was told. But I can ask for Mr. Robinson to give us details.
Okay. I don't know exactly which fees.
There was a parking one. There was a street. So, because the parking is being taken.
It's taking up on-street parking, it's taking up use of the sidewalk.
Okay.
But to me, those wouldn't be bonding issues,
But it was for utilities, right?
Some of it, but anyway, some of it.
All right. I will definitely ask him to get details on those.
I was just curious. It's just
Okay.
one of those when somebody says, we don't waive fees, and I'm like, I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, and it's not that we don't. So, for example, for Sarasota Station,
Sure.
there were fees that we don't have the authority over that we didn't collect. The ones that we did have, we did waive.
Sure.
So it just depends on what it is. I know each situation is different.
Right.
And then I wanted to request on some of the items that you have on your agenda, clarification on resolution number 25-13, and that has to do with the authorization of the COO Deputy Director to sign checks in Mr. Russell's absence. And I was curious if that would require some kind of written authorization or some sort of formal process so that can happen, as opposed to he's not available and then
Sure.
checks are signed. I think that was, and then my other question had to do with the HCV admin plan proposed changes, and it's changing the preference for those who have not resided in HUD subsidized housing within the past 5 years. I think it was 3 years before that, or 2 years?
2.
2, and why the change was from 2 to 5. Those are my 2 questions. Any questions of me?
No, I think I know mine.
So,
Got my answers.
thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll now have public presentations. I have one, and that's Mr. John Susi.
Yeah, my name's John Susi.
You got 3 minutes.
I've been in Sarasota, around Sarasota, longer than most of you on the board, stuff and I was around here when Jane Coe was a disgrace. Grouches and rats running through the halls, raw storage in the halls. It was a disgrace. Nobody's paying attention to it. Until somebody by the name of Valley Gershon stood up at Selby Library one day when they had a HUD came into town after another failed Hope grant, and said to all the people, many movers and shakers in Sarasota, said, well, we're going to move forward and we're going to work together. Valley stood up and said, I don't have enough part of that, nothing going on here. This is a total disgrace what's going on here. Nobody's paying attention to it. I don't know who the name of the HUD was, but he canceled his reservation. It was Friday afternoon, he gave his presentation, taking a tour of Janie Poe, and what he saw was a complete disgrace. It turned into a holding thing. Only Sarasota, New Jersey was there. And Valerie Bishant led the charge. I don't know if any of you ever saw the movie Condemned and said it all about what's coming place. And Valerie Bishant, probably if it wasn't for her, you guys would be sitting up there today. Now all I'm seeing is about Valerie's been treated like garbage. She should be sitting up there in one of those chairs. And if he's not put back in the chair, all of you have a problem. And the city commissioner over there is one of the main persons that make that happen. Valerie Bishant should be sitting on this board. Because if she wasn't here today, none of you would have been here. You wouldn't be here either, Mr. Russell. You're making $200,000 a year. You know what happened here. You know what she did to this program and what she did to Sarasota. It was a disgrace. Until she's put on the board, this board here has a real serious problem. Take care of it. Good day.
Thank you.
Well, gee, thanks for that bright light.
Okay, now we'll move on to resolutions. We have Resolution 2512, approval of Laughlin Lemon Development. 2513, approval of COO delegation of authority to sign checks. Resolution 2514, HCV administrative plan revision. Resolution 2515, ACOP revision. Do we have any
Wait, I'd like to pull,
which one?
let's go ahead and pull the COO delegation and the admin plan revisions.
And I'd like to pull,
2513 and 2514.
14. Mhm.
I want to pull
13 and 14, right?
14 and, wait a minute, 15, I think.
Okay. Anyone want to pull 12?
No.
Okay.
I move approval of 12.
So I
Okay.
think we just have to do them in order then.
Okay. So as the
Yeah, you
one,
just move the consent agenda then, the remainder.
I move the remainder.
move the remainder 25, 13, 14, and 15.
Huh?
You said
No,
you-
it would be just 12, right?
12, we move going on with 12.
Commissioner Morgan.
You're just moving 12, on that.
Okay. Motion for 12?
Woman? I'll second.
Consent
Second.
agenda.
Anyone object? All ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, so we open this, discuss 25, 13?
Excuse me, Andrea. Get up and have any more attorneys. So I can bring them. Oh, they're over there, so I can get up.
Yeah, you want to look at mine?
If I can get this one back, you can use this whole thing.
No,
It's got my notes from Commissioner Koch.
I'll get back.
So I know Commissioner Aaron Koch had a question on the delegation of the authority. I don't know, I kind of spoke to you earlier a little bit about it. So if you just want to kind of go over what the process, what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, well, right now, I'm the only one, on staff that's authorized to sign checks. And then, on certain checks, we have to have a second signature of a board member. And it's really never come up before. It came up recently. I think there might have been a situation where I was at FADA last week, I believe, and I don't know, we were, I think, had trouble maybe finding a board member to sign, and so we discussed that in the event, obviously it hasn't happened much at all, but in the event that, I'm traveling and I'm just not available, or in the hospital or something, and I'm not available to sign checks, that I could delegate that to Ken, on a limited basis, obviously. He's never done it before, so this is not like it's going to be a frequent thing, and we may not ever need to do it again.
Right.
But I
Does that
just-
need to be part of the bylaws or anything?
Well, there should be a policy behind it.
Or?
yeah.
It would have to be.
Right.
It's more policy than anything else. The bylaws would address more so. Well, it could be in the bylaws also. But I think the first step is to determine whether you want to approve that. And as the commissioner said, whatever procedural with the bank and everything else would have to flow from that would come from after you, if you decide to approve this resolution.
Can you, I mean, I'd rather have since it's not, do you think it's going to be a foreseeable issue in the next 30 days?
No.
Do you think you can come back and have a policy, or
Yeah.
we're going to amend the policy and then,
Yeah, that's fine.
okay. I mean, that's where I would feel more
So we
comfortable.
can just table it.
Okay, we will table, 2513 will be tabled. Let's move on to 2514.
But table to a time certain. 30 days.
30
Yeah, the
days.
next
Yeah, the
meeting.
next
Table
board
to 30
meeting.
Next
days.
board meeting.
Next board meeting is July 23rd.
Okay.
That's 4 meetings. Okay, let's discuss 2514.
So I was interested in a clarification, if you will, and I did speak with Mr. Russell about it earlier and just asked him to clarify for the board as a whole. Make it a little more clear.
Okay. So the board has adopted some what we call set aside, referral preferences. We have one with the city where we've set aside 60 vouchers for the city homeless outreach team to refer people to us to help get pretty much chronically homeless people off the street. We've had that for a while. A newer one is the board a few months ago approved this victims of domestic violence referral, and we have agreements in place with Spark and Hope, and so we're ready to go on that. And then there's a group called Schoolhouse Link that is now part of the Safe Children Coalition, and they deal with homeless kids in the school system. And so the board approved 15 of those vouchers. You may recall Ellen McLaughlin came and presented to the board and talked to you all about that.
Excuse me, is that mainly for kids who are aging out of the foster care system?
No.
Who's it for?
It's school-age kids whose families are
Also
homeless.
to their family?
Yes.
Okay.
So these are part of our regular voucher pot, right? These are not special programs that Congress has appropriated, like VASH or Family Unification Program, the Mainstream Voucher Program, which is non-elderly disabled. And right now, we're in kind of a tight funding year right now. Last year, there were a lot of housing authorities that went into shortfall because HUD really gave Congress a very low inflation factor to use for their calculations, and it didn't provide enough funding. So many housing authorities came in for shortfall funding that HUD ran out of the funding, and housing authorities had to dip into their reserves a significant amount last year. Heading into this year, HUD is projecting that there will be even more agencies in a shortfall position. And they cautioned us in December about our 2025 calendar year. Again, just a reminder, HUD gives us basically an amount of money every year. It's a budget, and we have to house as many people as we can with that budget. The goal is to spend all of it, and because based on how much we spend this year, that's basically what we'll get next year, right? So if we get $10 million, but we only spend $9 million, then they're only going to give us a little over $9 million next year. So we want to spend the full $10 million, but we don't want to go too far over $10 million because HUD is probably going to run out again of shortfall money, and we don't have a ton of money in reserves, and so we don't want to get to the end of the year to where we can't pay all of our landlords for the month of December, let's say. So we've been holding back and not issuing any regular vouchers so far this year. All we've been issuing are VASH and fostering youth independence, family unification, some mainstream, because those are all funded separately and they're fine, they're in good shape, and HUD has said we can continue to lease up those special purpose vouchers. We meet on a monthly basis. We have this huge spreadsheet that HUD calls the 2-year tool. We have an outstanding consultant who meets with us every month remotely. We go through the tool and we figure out our per unit cost as of right now, how many vouchers we have under lease as of right now, how much HAP, which is subsidy, how much we're spending on a month-to-month basis. And then there's a box, like a summary box that kind of pops out from the spreadsheet, and it projects how much we're going to end up with at the end of the year. And right now, we're projected to be in the negative. So that's why right now we're not accepting any of the referrals for these special programs that you've previously approved. And we're going to just monitor it on a month-by-month basis. If we get to the point, we don't want to get too conservative and shrink, but like I said, we don't want to get overextended and not have money to pay the landlords.
And that was why I wanted you to clarify it here for all the board members, for the public, because they know we have these special vouchers, but why aren't we issuing? And I think it's important when people know, they know they can make better decisions.
And it also means we're not calling people off the waiting list
Right.
either. So,
So,
all right.
thank you for that one. What about the next one?
Did you want to pull this one too?
So any more questions for 2514? No questions? Can we approve that? Make a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving on to 2515. Open for discussion.
And I think that was the kind of the same for me, which I wanted him to clarify.
And the reason we were proposing changing the preference for people who have not resided in HUD subsidized housing from 2 to 5 is, as we discuss it amongst our staff, we're definitely seeing names that people are very familiar with. They've been through the system, and now they're back on the list very quickly. And, to me, it's a very finite resource, and there's always extensive waiting lists and stuff. And we just feel like, not that those people can't be housed, but that perhaps there should be a preference for people who, within the last 5 years, have had no assistance and they've been waiting for years to get some assistance.
How long's our waiting list? Roughly for both programs? Well, we'll say our two main programs. But
I
roughly.
mean, for these two programs, which I'm more recently familiar with, it's like a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay.
And the wait lists are closed as of right now, so.
Sure.
Section 8's, everything's pretty much closed, but in terms of how long, actually, we're getting pretty low. In fact, we're in the process of opening up the wait list for Bertha Mitchell and maybe a couple of other properties.
Some of the SHFC.
Yeah, SHFC as well. So, you know, people could apply for the Bertha Mitchell list pretty soon and, you know, not have too long of a wait.
Sure.
Well, we're renovating Bertha Mitchell, aren't we?
Yes.
So we can't open it up to new people applying if
Well, we still have vacant units on an ongoing basis, and we're starting to run on certain bedroom sizes. We're starting to not have any people left on it, so we don't want to have vacancies and not have any.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
Vacancy loss counts.
Right.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, can we move to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. We move on to old business. Development updates, redevelopment reports on McCowan, Lofton-on-Lemon, Amaryllis 3, Cypress.
I guess I'm going to do this.
Why's that?
Well, we don't have
What, the
anyone.
rest of them didn't show up?
We don't have anyone to do it. We do have a development committee coming up, so we'll just put in a plug for that.
Is that a commercial? I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's an infomercial. McCown Tower, as we discussed. In fact, I'm going to go to it, but Florida Housing Finance Board will be voting on this on June 12th.
This case is finished.
So the case is finished. The judge ruled the recommended order or whatever. So it's kind of the final word, but the Florida Housing Board could still elect not to follow the board's recommended order. I mean, the judge's recommended order. It's an administrative judge, so it rarely happens. So we think the chances are in the high 90s that this will be approved. So that'll be June 12th. Lost on Lemon Phase 2, we're continuing to do off-site work because we haven't closed yet, but that's why southbound Lemon Avenue is all closed off right now. FPL's been undergrounding the power lines and doing some stuff with the utilities underground there. The closing is still scheduled, still tracking for June 18th, so that's exciting. Amaryllis Phase 3, which is Cypress Phase 2. The buildings are coming down pretty fast. I took three of our new employees on a tour this morning, and we pulled into the gate there, and they're making a lot of progress, so that's positive. Probably be another week or so before all the buildings are down. And they've got some of the utility subcontractors all lined up, ready to go to start doing some of that site work as soon as the buildings are out. And then Amaryllis Phase 4, which is Cypress Phase 3, plus Central Gardens on 22nd Street. We're still working on the design for that. We're still working on the financing. I guess the Board of County Commissioners decided to reallocate $7.5 million in CDBG DR money from the last round that I think was going to like, someone told me it was for like building trade program or
It's the
something.
Home Builders Association.
Yeah, but I guess they're not doing that or something. I don't know.
I
But
thought they didn't approve it.
They did not.
so they want to reallocate 7.5 million, and staff reached out to us and said the first place we want to look to do this is applications that did not receive any funding. And we submitted 3 apps, 2 of which have either, well, one's closed, which is Cypress Phase 2. Lost on Lemon 2 is about to close, so we don't need money for that now. But we did request a little bit of money for Central Gardens to help cover some of that construction budget, because as you know, the budget was tight, and so we were trying to do a little value engineering on that. So if we get that funding from the county, that would help restore some of those value engineering decisions.
When do you find out about that?
I have no idea. I was going to follow up with staff actually about that. It sounded like it might happen fairly quickly.
It's coming from the county?
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna go on.
Well, yeah, they gotta
their
allocate that money, man,
break
or they'll lose it.
pretty soon.
Yeah.
I was curious on if we are having any groundbreakings.
We haven't planned any.
Oh, we might want to consider
Kinda-
that.
we're
Are
kinda
you gonna chime in?
Wanting to focus more on the grand openings.
Well, I think it's a good opportunity, those are to get things out in the public. I know Lost on Lemon, a lot of our projects have been, out there, but I think it's a good project to, have a groundbreaking show we're doing in the community, so I
I
think
think
consider doing
they
Lost
all
on
are
Lemon.
opportunities.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that we have a number of officials up for election and re-election, and they want to show up and be seen so that the public will see some of the progress we've made that they helped with.
Yeah.
Not to single out the commissioner that's sitting here, of course, but, a number of people have expressed a desire on this, so.
And they help fund it, and sometimes it's nice, like
Yeah.
you're saying, to
Yeah.
show.
They help us, we need to show the people that they're doing something.
Well, and I especially think with the city, if we want to partner on the one project, that it's probably important to show like commissioners that haven't been around.
I mean, I guess my question is, how many people would show up for a groundbreaking
When it's
as
100,000
opposed
degrees.
to a
We've had
grand
numbers.
opening? Yeah.
Both. I think it's a good opportunity to learn what's going on.
Okay.
Talk to people, understand the project
Yeah,
and
we've had a couple.
timelines and funding, and
Sure.
just understand it better, what's going on. There are a
All
million
right.
moving parts, and this is a big important one, so.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Lost on Lemon, phase 1, that was a huge success.
Yeah, we did do that.
And that was a huge success, and I think we need to.
Well, the Orange Avenue, that was a big one.
Oh yeah, we did do that one too.
That was a groundbreaking and a grand opening.
I think we did one at Jamie Poe too. Of course, that was our first ever deal. Okay. That's it.
Okay, we have no new business. Oh, board retreat.
Board retreat.
The board retreat.
So, Andrea gave y'all the breakfast
Excuse
menu.
me, Saturday, the 21st, right? Saturday, the 21st.
What time?
8 to noon
Okay.
at the Lost on Lemon 5th floor conference room.
So if you can turn those in either today or email us your election so we can get that wrapped up. Do you guys want Andrea and I to put together an agenda and a roll call?
I think that retreats our agenda.
What's that?
I think
They'll
typically.
just assist you in setting it
Oh,
up.
Yeah.
Do you want an agenda? That's the question.
Okay.
So I know there's a couple items I typically like to have on there. Which kind of like brings me, I know at our past retreats, typically we'll go over Williams' performance reviews.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah, I think that's it.
So, you know, I mean, I haven't done one since I've been back on the board, so I feel like it's probably time.
We've been doing that for retreats.
And so we got a couple weeks. I mean, you know, if we can put together.
Yeah.
I know in the past, the one.
So do you want, Rick, how would that work? Would they get them beforehand and do them individually, or would they do it all at the retreat? How would that work?
I think they would get them beforehand
Yeah.
and do them all individually.
And turn them into Rick.
So, one of the things. Oh, go ahead, Rick.
I won't be in the retreat, but you could turn them into me if you need to.
In the past, and so I don't know how we're doing them now, but typically during the retreat we would create those goals for William for each year, and you know, so it's not really subjective, right? Where it's like, here's your goals. Did you accomplish them or not? And he would write whether he did or didn't, and if he didn't, you know, typically there'd be a reason why. So I'm just kind of curious at the last retreat if the board had come up with like the goals for William, or they got away from that.
No, we didn't.
I never got it.
No, we didn't. We discussed those, we didn't, I don't think we came up with.
Okay. So, I mean, I think this time it's probably like the review, but I think I found that to be pretty effective for both William and for the board to, like I said, there's no, I don't want to say, you know, what's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So should we just submit what we want on agenda to you? All the commissioners can just say what we want
Okay.
to put together. So,
Okay.
And then I can set it up and give you printouts at the development committee meeting on June 11th,
Great.
so you can have it by the 21st.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Now, program updates accepted by consent. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Motion?
So moved.
So move second.
So seconded.
No, it wasn't submitted.
Question?
I'm sorry, you got my no one thing down.
No, I don't want to pull anything.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Commissioners' comments. Let's start with Commissioner Mason.
I think I said enough this meeting.
Thank you. Commissioner Coleman? Colon?
Well, since she pronounced my name, so.
I apologize.
You know, I appreciate Mr. Susie's comments, but as someone who was here for that whole period, and someone who was involved with the congresswoman that helped us get HUD here, and it's a good thing we didn't get that whole $6 grand, because that would have been a problem, in my opinion. They have not worked out very well for anybody who got them. And if you think it has, just take a look north a little bit towards Bradenton. It didn't work out as well as it should have. So I think we've done very well. I think Mr. Russell's done a very credible job under some difficult circumstances. And I think you'll find we're in much better shape than almost all the other housing authorities I know. And I have traveled to a significant amount of them, from here all the way up to the Space Coast and all the way out to the Panhandle. So I've seen a lot of housing authorities. And ours operates a lot more smoothly than most of them. And that's all I have to say. So,
And Madam Chair, to Mr. Colon's point, we don't appoint ourselves to these highly paid positions. The city commission does, and so I would offer, if anybody has any problem with that they take it up with the city commission. It is their job to appoint the members of this board, which they do, and they've done it for as long as I can remember. And so, if they have any issues with that, they should talk to me.
Madam Chair, may I add a comment?
Yes.
Just so you know, I emailed John Susie with that exact statement. I copied William Russell on it and Valerie as well, that his comments should be directed to the current mayor. It's the mayor who appoints.
Well, with all due respect, I will say once again, I think we've done a very good job under some difficult circumstances. And we're lucky to have some of the people we have on the board, because I don't know too many housing authority boards that have an architect and a certified housing expert who travels around the country utilizing his expertise to straighten out troubled housing authorities. And he serves on this housing authority for free, whereas they pay tens of thousands of dollars to get his input. We get it for free, and an ex-mayor and an ex-county commissioner sitting here. So I think we've got a very varied background here, and that it's worked so far. And I think that's good, and that's commendable. And although I browbeat Mr. Russell incessantly, he's still managed to hang on and fight back, which I love. So, and he's done a great job. That's just my opinion.
My email was not to comment on this current board.
Mm-hmm.
It was just to direct him to direct his comments to the appropriate person, which is the mayor.
I know John a long time, and I'll just say that he's good at pointing out issues, but solutions are another problem entirely. So, it's like they used to tell Jesse Jackson, "Oh, why don't you run for mayor of New York? You'd be great." He never did. Why? He might win. And that would have been a problem, because then he'd be expected to do something. It's easy to criticize, it's harder to do things. And yes, I knew Jesse Jackson, so I'm gonna tell you that. So, and worked on his Wall Street project for years, free. So, that's it. Thanks, Chip.
Okay, yeah, I do have, but I'll just piggyback just a little bit on what y'all talk about. I mean, I do believe, the time that Valerie served here, she was, she did bring a lot to the table, and it was great getting her feedback, from the residents and really backing them. So I do think, her time here was well served. But I did want to give you an update on my experience, well, somewhat brief update on my experience at the last conference I was at, FADA. I did learn a lot. I was rushing around coming to the meeting, so I didn't bring my notes with me, but I will share them at our next meeting. There were some, I always go to make sure I go to the commissioners when they have special ones on the commissioners, and even though I found that, I've been a commissioner for a while now, every single time I go to those and they give us pointers on what to do as a commissioner, I always pick up something new. And this one, she really had a different take on it, so I was able to gain a lot from that, which I'll share with everybody, either now or at a retreat.
Commissioner Roman?
No.
Commissioner Morgan?
No, I'm okay.
Commissioner Finger?
Well, I guess this is my last meeting. I just want to thank all of you for all the good years we've had, and I think we've accomplished miracles as an agency. There's not many housing authorities in the country that can boast as many new developments and new units and rating of our units in high rating as the housing authority here in Sarasota. So congratulations to everyone. And thank you for being partners.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Thank you, Dwayne. And I just want to say, I do get to go everywhere and see a lot of different housing authorities. I've been to housing authorities in every state, Puerto Rico, and this is, I mean, we do a really good job here. You know, I try to bring, whether it be from the policies or some of those small little nuggets that you see, you know, are there things we can improve? Of course, like every organization, I don't care how smooth or what you think of them, they're gonna have weaknesses, right? And of course, we're gonna have some, but for what we've been able to accomplish and watching the redevelopment of just, you know, like you said, Janie's and Orange Avenue, I mean, just, it's been really incredible what we've been able to accomplish and the amount of funding and money, and, you know, we've grown all of our programs, so we're not only housing more people than before, but I think we're doing it really well. So, you know, I just want to say, good job, William. So,
Thank you.
and good job on the board. So, and thank you, Dwayne.
Yes,
So-
thank you, Dwayne.
Thank you, Dwayne.
When I'm ready to come skiing, I'll come see you.
Well, I'll think about you when it's 22 degrees below zero in Vermont.
Well, it's been down in the 30s the last month.
I know.
Well, that was good.
Well, it's 1,000 degrees here.
So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the city of Sarasota. Through thick and thin with this housing authority, the city has been there for us. Even going into receivership, in receivership, coming out of receivership, they've been right there. And I don't know if any of the municipal governments have a liaison, but the city saw the need for that years ago, and they have maintained that, and I think it is a
Well, an active
wonderful-
engaged liaison too. Like that's.
I
one
think
thing to
it's
have
a
liaison.
wonderful relationship to have between the housing authority and the city of Sarasota. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd just like to also just chime in and say I appreciate all that's been done. Before I sat on the board, I appreciate Sarasota housing staff, the board members, city, and just all our partners. I most appreciate what the Sarasota housing does for our youth and our families, the programs they offer, and the partners that we have in the community because of our housing staff. So I just want to say thank you. And Mr. Dwayne, we will miss you. Commissioner,
I'm going to miss you
thank you.
guys too.
Thank you.
I am, really. From the bottom of my heart.
And thank you to our attorney, Gilmore. Mr. Gilmore, thank you for your service. So just say thank you.
I'll miss you, Dwayne, because you're the other longest serving commissioner here with me.
Right. Thank you, John. And you too. You'll keep up good work, I'm sure.
And the thing is, what I always appreciated about you was you always had an opinion. You voiced it. And whether we agreed or disagreed, we would always speak to one another. And it was a cordial relationship. It's not
Absolutely.
as fractured as our relationships are at this point in this country.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in that. So thanks a lot for your service, Dwayne. We do
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
it.
you, John.
And next time I get up to Vermont, I'll come knock on your door.
Please do that. Love to have you.
I don't think you should have said that, Commissioner Fenning.
What? Why not? It was 22 below zero. I'm knocking on somebody's door.
Okay, we can now end this meeting.
Thank you. It's 22 below zero.
Nice meeting.
You touch your car door and don't have gloves on.
Everything got resolved. I didn't want to ask.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Jim. Bring your comments, Les.
You know what I tell people?
Not really.
Okay.